In celebration of Australian women in surf, this isn't a story that's lived out in the lights, it's as grassroots as it gets. It's about a woman who found surfing against the odds and out of tragedy, but she's made it her life's passion to spread the stoke with thousands. We're here 2 hours north of Sydney to share a story which has impacted both everyday people learning to surf for the first time, all the way through to our country's best competitors.
My first really good memory of a wave. I took off and just dropped down this wave, and just that feeling, even to this day, was just amazing. I still even remember it, just dropping down and starting to cut across off the bottom, and yeah, never looked back. How are you, girls? Today, it's really sizey out there. Lay on your boards for me. We'll just go through a little bit of technique. Remember when you're paddling, fingers closed. Let's paddle.
Let's start at day one. How does a young girl from Revesby in Western Sydney get introduced to surfing?
We used to come up here to the entrance, holidays, Christmas holidays, 6 weeks a year. I just had a love for the ocean, obviously, and one of my uncles said to me one day, Sandy, you can read the waves pretty good, maybe you should start surfing.
Still living in Revesby, I imagine you'd only get your taste of the ocean periodically during the year.
My mum actually passed away when we were on holidays up here when I was 14. And
do you remember the passing of your mother quite clearly?
Yeah, it's like it happened yesterday. We had a caravan, so first time we'd ever had a caravan for our holidays, and she had a massive asthma attack. I was super close with my mum, so that's why it's probably still as though it happened yesterday. You know, I just miss her dearly. All these years ago. Then we moved in with my dad. He was on the northern beaches, so I was super close to the surf then, and that's where it took off.
How was that arriving in that new town, and what was the surf culture like at the time?
My friends didn't actually surf, the girls from there, but all the guys that we used to hang around with, they all surfed, and they all surfed at Mona Vale and at Newport Peak. So, but all their brothers all used to surf, so I used to just go down the beach on the weekend and I'd always know somebody in the water. I was just constantly in the surf, constantly.
Pittwater High School was one of the first schools to embrace any kind of surf program with its sports roster, wasn't it?
Yes.
But, as I understand, not for women.
Our school sports principal said that girls never surfed, so we were not allowed to go. There was only 3 of us that surfed in the school, and yeah, we had to stay back and do other sports. So I obviously always did some beach activity of some kind, just to be down there in the sand.
Do you remember what it was like when you did begin to familiarise yourself with those lineups, in whether it be Newport or Narrabeen?
DY was probably my worst area where I used to surf at. When I would go down there, I'd always got hassled by the DY boys and that. They'd always tell you to get back on the beach where women belonged, or get back in the kitchen where girls should be. And
I imagine on the flip side of that though too, when maybe you paddle out at somewhere like Snapper Rocks or even down here at Soldiers, sometimes there must just be a lineup full of women, and that must feel incredible.
We've got our own club up here that we call Nora Head Women in Waves. We've got nearly 100 members, you know, so this beach here in particular, sometimes we'll have more women than the men, and the men will be paddling around going, oh, well, I'm getting outnumbered. I go, yes.
When did your love for competition start?
Well, I was probably 15. I went at my first contest. It was called Moving On. I just hung in the whitewash, and there might have been one other girl maybe in the whitewash, but the others were all out the back.
From that point until 22, 23, you went through a pretty radical improvement.
I become friends with a heap of the guys from North Narrabeen, the older boys, and just constantly watching, constantly surfing. I surfed every minute I could.
At this point in time, what's happening on the world stage for women surfing?
Even back then, what the girls were doing on the waves, like Pam Burridge, for instance, even though she's a couple of years younger than me, she was right up there on top of Australia. So Pam's actually one of the first females I really looked up to. And I was like, wow, will I ever get to that stage?
In '97, you won your first Australian title in the over 28s division. In 1999, you won the Opens and the Seniors division. And then from 1999 until 2014, you'll go on to win another 3 consecutive seniors titles and 7 more titles in the over 35s. I'm not even going to begin on the 18 or so state titles you've won, but what an incredible achievement.
Yeah, it's something I just love doing. And those titles, not one single one of them have come easy to me at all. Yeah, I'm just amazed actually what I've done when I kind of look back at things, but I just love doing what I do. And I'm glad that the rewards have come from it.
And did you want to be a professional?
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. Didn't really bother me too much. I was already doing lots of travelling. And I went, you know what? I'm going to go the other option and do the working and buy a house. And that was probably got a bit more maybe maternal instincts in me. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm really happy. I don't regret anything I've done by not going professional at all. All right, let's paddle. I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, up we go.
Now, how many years has it been since you've kicked off this surf school?
Well, I've been doing it for 18 years. I worked for 2 years before that, so yeah, 20 years.
What keeps bringing you back every day? I mean, this is beautiful.
Yeah, I think just the smile on the kids' faces most of the time.
Of all the people that you've taught to surf, what do you think the number's at now? Throw a number at me.
Oh, thousands.
Really?
Yes, yeah, have to be thousands because I do really big school groups at each year too. I do outreach groups and yeah. And you know, when they first get that first wave and they're smiling, their hands above their heads, you know, it's that's what keeps bringing me back.
Surfing New South Wales is an organisation that's been around for a very long time. 20 or so years ago. Do you remember what the organisation was like at that time?
There wasn't many women in with it, especially with the surf coaching and stuff like that. I obviously wanted to just do my level 1 and went ahead and did it. I was the only female that did it when I did my level 1 out at Cronulla.
After you would have come involved, there was this really big surge of young female surfers that came through.
It probably would have been when they had the all-girls surf contests at Lannex, when we started to go up to those, and that's then when I saw that surgence of young girls coming through that were really, really good, and I was like, wow, this is where surfing's going in Australia. And then a few years later is when the Stephanie Gilmores and the Sally Fitzgibbons and all those girls started to come through. Steph would have definitely been at Lannex at the All Girls. I was just out having a free surf one day and I remember it like it was yesterday, and I was just paddling out and I see this young whippersnapper come along and she just did this biggest hack like right in front of me, all fins kind of showing, and I'm like, holy cow. And she was like 11. From then we did a few Lane Beach League camps and I started doing Australian titles with her as a coach. I take my hat off to what Lane's done for the women's surfing. I know over the years, and Lane would probably say the same thing, and everybody else, that she's a super hard competitor. But as I do say, is she wouldn't have won 7 world titles without being that determined. And, you know, to get 7 world titles, man, that's amazing.
You were renowned as a coach in Surfing New South Wales for not just focusing on the talent and technical side, but also that mental preparation. Why was that a focus for you, do you think?
I think because they have to keep a focus on what they're doing. They're only young. They haven't been all around the world at that stage as yet, at that time. I know when to stop them, when to tell them to go to bed, but we also have so much fun together. You know, it's a matter of what time to keep them focused for their comps and then what time just to relax and chill out. And I used to get up for early. Sally was always out there before me. As she is still to this very day. I have really never ever, male or female, met anyone more focused.
And what do you remember about Tyler?
So she's obviously got that determination as well to be the best, and you know, she will be. She used to train and stuff like that, and she was never had any trouble with any of the kids. She'd probably, I don't know, more fun, if you know what I mean.
Why do you think Surfing New South Wales and New South Wales in particular has produced so many amazing talent on the global stage?
I think just the variety of waves that we've got to train in. You know, they've got their beach breaks that they can train in, and also they've got a lot of long point waves that they can get their technique and that working on.
All right, Sandy, talk us through these ones.
We've got this one here from Peru. Came away with a third in that one in Peru in perfect waves. These ones are from Panama. They've got teams titles and the tag team event in that as well. I got a fourth in that one. Nail biter that one right down to the last minute. So yeah, came away with a second, but it was still over the moon. Super fast, punchy barrel waves. Had to paddle into them a different technique to what you would normally out here.
You've recently been dealt some pretty big obstacles. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your medical battles?
I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 25. I probably had a fair bit before then, but I was never ever diagnosed. So obviously I still kept surfing. I knew what the triggers were, but the latest one I had though, which was about 16, 17 months ago, there was no trigger and I was driving my car and I crashed it. Yeah, so luckily nobody was injured, including myself. I just wrote the car off, and all I remember was the road suddenly just went a little bit blurry. Missed a telegraph pole by that much and then took out some fence. So I didn't surf for about 3 or 4 months then. And we found a vest. I wear this O'Neill life vest. It just holds me up and I've just got to be out with people I know.
What are you most proud of about Australian women surfing and the state it's in today?
I think just the way that the progression that they've done and just brought that sport so far up for girls surfing. You know, it started a long time ago, and now the Sallys and the Stephs and the Lauras and stuff are just reaping the benefits from it, and they're still pushing it now. They're pushing it to that other level.
And do you think there will come a time when you won't be coaching and you won't be doing surf lessons?
Yes, yeah. I am getting a bit longer in the tooth, but I still really am passionate about my work. Obviously, you know, sometimes I go, I might just step back and I'd stay on the beach, and you know, within half an hour I'm out the back with the kids in the water. You know, I just can't help myself. With the elite coaching, I'll probably be there as much as I can, even if it's just for mentoring. I've got so much enjoyment out of my surfing over the years, as you can probably see. And I just like to try to channel that in the right way of the kids, you know. If even like those girls today, you know, that had out there for that learn to surf session, if they can even just get a little bit of energy out there and just that happiness, it makes my job done.
Well, on behalf of the Sally Fitzgibbons Foundation, Sandra, we'd like to thank you for sharing your story and all the incredible things you've done, not just for the girls at the top, but the girls and the guys who have never surfed before and introduced them to our sport. So thank you.
No worries, thank you Lucas. Thanks for having me.